if you were, if the situations were reversed, and that, it was Palestinians who were returning to the land in the 1900s, and went through this process of, first pragmatic Zionism, and then, a conflict with nearby states, and the Nakba and the military occupation today. That is to say, if you yourself were Palestinian, what would you do in our position? How would you feel about the conflict? What do you think your response would be?
So I'd like to answer the question, if I may, by stories that I've heard and seen from Palestinians and the sources they've sent me. So, we talk about how Palestinians were born and raised to hate and kill Jews. And then I talked to a Palestinian person who told me about his experience and his contact with Israel, tried to explain to me why no one had to teach him anything for him to feel what he felt. And his first memories of contact with Israel was when his cousin was shot dead, and he was a very young kid. In fourth grade, his mother was shot. She didn't do anything at all. She was collateral damage. But who sees, what fourth grader sees their mom as collateral damage and say, it's fine, my mom was shot by these people, and I'm okay with them. Now, thank God that the mother did not die, okay? But there are several Palestinians who've had their father killed, their mother killed, their brother killed, their sister killed, whatever, you name it, okay? And those who weren't proper Hamas or proper terrorists, they were collateral damage. I saw a documentary, thanks to you, on the children in Gaza. And there was this one kid in particular, I had his name down, and I don't remember, but he tells a story about how he and his family were hiding in the house, and an Israel soldier knocked on the door. Told him to leave. And the father came, and I'm sorry, but this was what he showed, with his hands up very closely to the door, and said, yes, how can I help you? And he was shot down dead. And this kid was like 8 years old, and he said, I wasn't born to hate. I didn't even know what hate was. But my father was shot right in front of me. And then my brother was killed right in front of me. And so I hate. I would hate the killer of my father. I don't know if I could forgive and find the compassion to forgive them, to understand their narrative and accept the fact that my father, my mother, was collateral damage. I would never accept that. I would never, and then you see a video of this old man. He wanted to go from checkpoint to checkpoint. And I don't even remember what he wanted to do, go visit his family or something, but the IDF didn't let him cross. And this is an old man. Like, honestly, if I'd see him on the street, I would go like, oh, you're so cute, okay? The last thing he looked like was a threat. And they didn't allow him to pass through. I guess his permit wasn't valid. I don't remember what it was. And he came to the IDF soldier and he said, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes, Like, I'm not a threat to you. I just want to pass. I just want to walk freely. Why won't you let me? And the soldier doesn't do anything to the man. He's just like, sorry, I'm following orders. You need to go back. So it's not that the soldier was evil, okay? But you see this man, just a very innocent old man, crying to the soldier and saying, please allow me some dignity. Allow me some dignity and just pass, Look at my pockets. And he started emptying it. And he started, throwing his jacket, and he was like, I have nothing. I have nothing to threaten you. So I don't know. The only thing I can say is that I was also, I was never ripped of my dignity. I was never living under occupation and oppression, but I do know what it's like to live under fear. I do know what it's like to live with hate. And I came to the conclusion that hate will get me nowhere. It will only continue the cycle of violence, and more innocent people will be killed because of it. And so, no matter how much the hate is justified, we need to break the cycle of violence. It is the only way that we can strive for a different tomorrow. And the Palestinian who witnessed his mother getting shot was also met at a junction in his life. Two roads diverge in a yellow woods, and he had to choose between resistance or violent resistance, or resistance in a cultural and intellectual way with reaching out to Israelis. I can tell you that this Palestinian changed me. When I saw that he was met with this obstacle and he chose to converse with me, he chose to educate me, he chose to speak with the people who shot his mother instead of fight them, I said, if he can do it, anyone can do it. And it made me appreciate the Palestinian struggle in a different way, and the Palestinian people in a different way. And this is why I think that it's important that we give Palestinians a platform to talk about their narrative, to give this intellectual intifada, this cultural thing, to educate us. It is our moral obligation. It's not even a moral obligation, but it's our obligation to learn, because they could have chosen differently and they chose not to. And I personally don't take it for granted. I appreciate it.